Alrighty, good evening. This is Jared. This is the Resilient Living Podcast, joined by my friend Ryan.
Hey, everybody.
Alrighty, so as people are rolling in like we typically do, I have a product to share. Okay, I don't know. Have you ever seen these like Amazon or YouTube or whatever?
Oh yeah,
Prepare Hero fire blankets.
Yep, the fire blankets. I've got one. I don't know if it's
Right.
any good or not. I should probably ask
They're
you.
fantastic. So from all the firemen I've talked to, they love them. Now I own, gosh, at least a half dozen fire extinguishers. It's one of those things like you never know when you're going to need it. When you need it, you really need it. But there's some types of fires that don't do well with a fire extinguisher that tend to like push things out, like oils and things that can get spread. I love this thing because I can take my fire blanket, I can throw it over the top of I just grab the little pull things, rip it. It's in my hands. I can throw it over something, put it out, or God forbid, and we'll get into this in this episode. We have to evacuate in the midst of a fire. I can take that and I can wrap it around me and kids. It's not super big, so that's why I got a bunch of them. I can wrap it around me and myself, me and my kids and my wife. There we go. And we can ditch and get out in the midst of fire. So it's a great product. I sell it. If you want one, come by the shop and buy one.
I like it. As a home inspector, I've seen so many homes where like the vinyl on the side of the house is melted from a grill fire.
Oh.
Yeah. And it seems like having one of those by your grill. First of all, move your grill away from your house.
Yes, please. Right.
Secondly, having something like that around that you could throw over and basically smother things. I don't know if a grill's a great option, but just situations where where a fire extinguisher isn't quite the right choice.
Yeah. Well, it's okay, so like right here, I've got a fire extinguisher right here in the corner. I've got another fire extinguisher over by the dryer. I've got another fire extinguisher in the kitchen next to the stove. I've got one in my garage right next to my forge. I've got one in the shop, mounted right up on the wall. 2, 3. There's another one somewhere. Don't remember where. Anyway, there's another one. But yeah, it's wherever the issue most likely-ish will arise.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think it actually really pairs well with, and I'm sure you did this on purpose, with our topic today when, talking about, and I think people should, Jared's got a good lineup here. I've seen his notes of talking about different types of preparedness for different types of disasters and thinking through what that's going to look like in your given situation, thinking through what's most likely for you. So I'm actually pretty excited to see what he has to say tonight about this.
Sweet. Cool. Well, and part of this is, audience participation. So depending on where you're located, I would love it if y'all would chime in the comments with, your thoughts as far as how things might apply to you. So there we go. All right. So really what we're going to talk about, I kind of want to set the stage with potential disasters. So as we think about being prepared, it's prepared for what? What are we prepared for? And that was the whole thing with the name for this live stream. So we can kind of split up preparedness or what we're prepared for into two different categories. We have our natural disasters and we have our man-made or infrastructure disasters. So some of the natural disasters that I thought of would be like severe weather, like Ryan and you and I, we're Middle Tennessee. We're Tornado Alley. We just are. We've had, how close did that was a EF4 that ripped through a couple of 4 years ago?
Yeah, it was, actually it's 2020.
Oh gosh.
It has
been.
The one you're thinking of, that was about 2 miles south of me.
Okay.
Stayed on the ground, followed I-40.
Yeah.
From Nashville through Cookeville.
Yeah. And it went it was not even a half mile north of my place in Cookeville.
Wow.
Yeah. That was wild because I didn't have a storm radio. I had no idea. I knew it was really, really windy, but then we woke up the next morning and everything was all quiet. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. And then we turned on the news and oh my goodness, it was not okay.
Yeah. I had no cell phone coverage and no idea why.
Yeah.
I was driving to work. I'm looking in the trees. I'm like, there's insulation up in the trees. That's weird.
Yes.
Right. And I didn't know until I got on site and somebody was like, do you know about the tornado last night?
The what?
No. Yeah, the what? So clearly I was very well prepared for that.
Well, and that's kind of what we want to talk about. It's like those kinds of things, and we've got some other for instances. They can arise so rapidly with no
Mhm.
warning or little warning, that having some preparations in place can make the world a difference. So okay, so that's tornadoes. For the Gulf Coast people, hurricanes. Oh goodness sakes, hurricanes! They're those unbelievably devastating, right? Um, Floods. I mean, we all. I mean, if Vic's in here yet, I'm not, is he in here yet?
Yeah.
Um, is he?
Yeah. He said
Okay,
he's
but
got tornadoes popping up in Arizona now.
isn't that weird?
Weird.
Like the whole thing shifted. It's I don't know, it's weird. But then he's got like flash floods because his soil can't absorb the water fast enough. And then you end up with this mud wall flying through the desert through these dry, creek beds, slamming up against roads, yeeting the whole entire bridge completely off its foundation. Like and the rain happened like 60 miles that way.
Right. But
Like you
it's
had no idea.
accumulating and pushing
Yeah.
down the valleys. Yeah. Yeah. And
Unbelievable.
for like our area, you mentioned tornadoes, which are they'd be a quick killer or a quick problem. Um,
Right.
but the real one for me is like ice storms, knowing that,
Oh yeah.
like wildfires, they could happen, but they get put out pretty quickly because it's fairly wet here most of the time. And
Here, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, tornado or ice storms here, just because people can be without power, they can't get in and out of places, and they can be pretty bad.
Sure.
So you can see more issues, but it's over a longer period of time. People generally don't die immediately because of an ice storm.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it is. Yeah, power's out, so you're don't have heat, you don't have refrigerated foods or whatever. Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Yep.
So one of the things that I was thinking of as far as flooding is concerned, so right, w- almost to the day, it was like February 12th. 'Cause it was on my wife's birthday. We were out to eat, having sushi. We'd had a tremendous amount of rainfall, and the local dam, the Orville Dam, which is one of the world's largest landfilled wind and fire prone areas. Yes, we'll get to that, Mom.
Yeah.
Um, um, Started fracturing, and so I actually pulled some pictures. So let me see if I can throw this. Okay, so this is a picture of the Orville Dam at the
Wow.
top there. So there's the concrete section with the spillway, but just to the left of that is it looks white, and then there's that dirt section below. So the whole dam area started fracturing, and the water started flowing over the top through these cracks. So what they did was they opened the spillway up and just let it rip. They just sent it all. and and what unfortunately ended up happening is there was already some problems in the spillway, and when that huge volume of water hit it, it ripped through, and I can show you what it ended up doing. It ended up ripping this huge canyon out. It displaced, I think they evacuated like 3 counties. It was like 150,000 people got displaced because of this. The water that flowed through this destroyed some of the salmon spawning grounds. It was brutal. Like it really wrecked everything. And that was we hadn't had a lot of rain recently, but it had accumulated, and so the Orville Dam was just filling up, and they had some issues. Most dams do. There aren't a lot of
Mhm.
new dams, and you know they're mostly like 50 years old.
Right.
Um, they have some issues. Um, Stuff can happen really, really unexpectedly. So yeah.
Yeah, and I like to say that water is the most necessary and gentle force on Earth, as well as it can be one of the
Unbelievable.
most destructive forces on Earth.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
it's incredible, and I think of friends like Nicole Sauce, who was on
Yeah.
the show a while back. She lives on the downhill side of Center Hill Dam,
Oh,
but I think her actual elevation is slightly higher than the lake elevation,
okay.
like the water that's being
So
held
if
up
if
by
it
the
flowed, it
dam.
would flow like down and past her place.
Yeah, because and you've also got the Venturi effect, right? Where she's kind of like back up a valley, back towards the lake from the river.
Oh,
And so
okay.
the water would likely kind of continue past where
Down
she's
though.
at.
Sure.
But, that'd still be pretty sketchy.
Oh, absolutely. Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah. So like, okay, so yeah, so we've covered like tornadoes and hurricanes and floods.
Mhm.
And then for all of my my other survivors, if you've got PTSD, you might want to look away. So this is a satellite view of the campfire. This is the fire that ripped through my town, Paradise. Um, again, incredibly fast, unexpected. Uh, there's no real planning, even though we really could. We knew that the oh wait,
Sorry.
there we go. Sorry. Ah, there we go. Okay,
They were
we
back.
knew that the circumstances were set for this. We had no idea what it would actually look like, how quickly it would move. I mean, we had that fire was just hopping and skipping, miles at a time, jumping across canyons, jumping across, whole towns. Um, and I mean, like what was left was not much. Like
Wow.
it erased entire neighborhoods in, a matter of minutes. Some like And so, being prepared, having a plan in place is super important because again, you don't know what's going to happen. And then we could go the whole opposite end of the spectrum where we have like, here we go. So this is up in Lake Tahoe, just, north, well, east of us, back in California. If they got, 30 feet of snow, that's like yeah, that's a pretty good year.
Yeah.
40 feet, yeah, that's getting up there. 50 feet, yeah, there we go. My house can't handle 50. What's the snow load rating of a house that can handle that?
Right. Yeah.
Like,
I
I
mean, at
can't,
some point, it's displacing itself in that it's,
yeah, holds
connecting to the
itself
snow on
up
either side
on
of it.
either
Yeah.
side, yeah, right. But like,
But when does that start?
and then when it
Um,
starts melting, and you get these overhanging shelves of ice that finally fail and drop, and like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is about preparation.
yep.
Um, another thing that can happen very unexpectedly, and um, part of this, I wanted to pick your brain because I know you know more about it than I do. Here we go. So this is the aftermath of the '89 earthquake that my wife actually was a kid, and she got to see this. She was here in the Bay Area of California and watched the all everything undulating and all of the roads fracturing and and this is West Coast. We're like, oh yeah, West Coast. That's where earthquakes happen.
Hmm.
But we have the New Madrid, right?
Yes. Yeah, we do.
So tell me a little bit about the history of the New Madrid fault.
Sure. I mean, I know some. I can't.
Yeah,
I'm no expert on it,
right.
but um, I think it was early 1800s,
That's about what I was
somewhere
thinking.
right in
Yeah.
there. The New Madrid fault line opened up. It actually created a new lake. Um, yeah. So it
Is
created
it's like
such
right
a
on the Mississippi
yeah.
or right
That's right.
near?
It's very near Memphis.
Okay, right.
So if the earthquake that happened in New Madrid, the original earthquake that we kind of know and have documentation of, um, Memphis basically wouldn't exist anymore.
Wow.
It would be completely leveled. I believe it was assumed to be in the above 9 Richter scale.
Oh, that kind of wow. Well,
Yeah,
did it
and
like make the Mississippi run backwards or something
yes, there
stupid?
were many ships were sunk by the Mississippi running backwards, and those that weren't, there's some accounts of those that weren't. You can still look at a lot of the like lidar imagery of a lot of the uh, fields in that area where there were geysers that started like sand and water geysers that started shooting, you know, I think between 50 and 100 feet in the air out of the
Jeez.
ground.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because the ground was moving, basically moving down so rapidly
Right.
that it created this pressure underneath and just created these geysers. So there's fields that are just dotted with in lidar. When you look at them, they're just dotted with these. It looks like anthills
Oh,
almost
okay. Yeah.
on lidar, and it's from these geysers that shot up. Um,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I looked at where the earthquake made it to, and my house might have actually survived. I don't know time-wise exactly when my house was built, but it
Wow.
was early 1800s,
Right.
and so my actual house may have gone through the New Madrid, and it
Oh,
would have not only been felt, but probably would have taken out some buildings out near my area.
dang. Well, and that's
Yeah.
what I was thinking about. It's like, no, we're not known for earthquakes here in Middle Tennessee, but I was thinking about like if there were, I was thinking about all of the subterranean caverns that we have here in Van Buren and
Mhm.
White County. Can you imagine? Because those are just drop. I mean, like, because as soon as those rocks fracture, they're falling.
Yeah.
So that would turn our freeways, whole towns just drop because that
Yeah.
was a giant cavern that nobody had discovered yet that just broke and drops.
Yeah, in fact, there's I believe large portions of it are um basically unknown, but or like they don't know how far it goes, but most of Cookville is built over a giant cavern system.
Yeah, yeah, Sparta too.
So,
Yeah,
yeah. And my wife Megan harasses me because I'm always looking at, especially when I'm driving through like Sparta, White County area,
yes,
there's all these low-lying areas that look like they should be, like it should be a lake or a giant
yes, but
pond
there
or
isn't
something, and there isn't. And it's like, well, the water has to go somewhere. And so I've been kind of interested in looking because you can see sinkholes all over the place
all over.
and evidence of sinkholes and sinkholes opening up.
Yep.
And I know several different people pretty close to you who have giant sinkholes that have opened up on their property. Just down the road that you're on,
Yes.
going east a little ways, there's multiple people I know with sinkholes that have opened up.
Mhm.
So
That's
one
why
of
I
them
was
had a cow get stuck, like a calf get stuck way back
oh,
in it.
oh, well, I was warned when I, had to talk to somebody about putting a pond in. They're like,
Mhm.
"You can do it, but just be forewarned that in this area, ponds turn into sinkholes real fast." It's like
Yeah, they certainly
all
can.
that weight and all that and if there is a fissure, it's gonna find it and it's gonna open it up and then it's oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Right.
a possibility. I want to consider those real dangerous, like the
Well,
dangerous
it
type of sinkholes.
perfect. Well, and that so that kinda ties back into, yes, all of these things that we've talked about are possibilities. Are
Mhm.
they likely? Are they a
Mhm.
likely possibility, something that we need to really spend time, honing in our preparations for, or are they just, outliers?
Yeah.
And that's where, you in the comments, like, Vic, for you, you're not going to worry about the same things, that you did when you lived in Tennessee versus, now living in Arizona.
Yep.
Use the Watch Duty app. Yeah, there you go.
Um, so yeah, and that's a really good point. Like, I don't know what the term is. Maybe you do, or I forget the term. I've heard it, but the like 80-20 rule,
Yeah.
where you can get like 80% of the way there with 20% of the work, and then
It's
it
80% of the
it
work to get the
starts
last
to
20.
reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um, and so in preparedness, my way of thinking of it is think about what in your region or for your specific family is, what you can do that 80% for the 20% of work as
Yeah.
far as preparedness.
Yes. Yeah. The vast majority of your preparations can be done, um, and this is really important, fairly inexpensively.
Mhm.
Yes, we like to go to the exotic, really cool things, but not everyone needs an Atlas bunker. I'm just saying you don't need to spend 500 to $1 million on an Atlas bunker. They're
Right.
cool, but you don't need one.
Right.
I've I'm in my basement. If we have a tornado warning, this is where we come. And like
Yeah.
it, it's not an Atlas, but like it's concrete. It's not going anywhere. It's
It's 80% there. The
it's
Atlas is the
80%.
100%, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it worth that? No, it's not. For the vast majority of people, if you're blessed, invite me over because I want to hang out. If you're blessed with those resources and you've already got that 80% covered, awesome, cool. even still, like, is that really where you want to spend your money? Like, maybe. Like, and that's really what I wanted. It's like I wanted to take the fear out of being prepared. It's not about being scared. Um, it's just being aware and thinking ahead a little bit. It's like, think like all the things I've got back there. Like, it's good to have a medical kit. It's good to have some, food on hand that doesn't require anything but just a little bit of water. Oh, Vic, I'm sorry.
Vic says, I guess I'll call my contractor and cancel that bunker install.
Right. Or you could
I
just,
bet you had one scheduled.
just bury a Connex or something. You'll be fine. Don't do that. Unless you reinforce
the walls will
out of it.
Yeah,
the walls are not designed for horizontal forces. They're vertical. Don't do that.
Well, and even there, it's like the corners are designed.
Yeah, it is because those
vertical
boxes
stacking.
stack and it's like they sit on the corners.
Yep.
Not
Because if I
designed.
go up and crawl on, or like climb on my roof, I can on my shop, I can feel it bending. Like
Yeah.
it's just not fixed.
It's not designed for it.
Fixed steel, no.
No, it's shipping and it's designed to do the job as cheaply as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and just talking of bunkers and shelters and things, a lot of times people are installing these things, and by the time they go to try to use them, they're filled with water, or
Oh yeah, right.
They're not very safe because the walls can collapse and they haven't been properly engineered either.
Right. And props to Atlas. Everyone that I've ever seen thus far has been really well done, and so they're always doing a good job. So yeah, that really kind of. My ICF home. Yes, Scott.
ICF homes are nice.
Yes,
yeah.
They are solid. So that kind of rounds out, doesn't, it's not an exhaustive list, but that's kind of your natural disasters. But then you have your the other side of the equation of your man-made-ish infrastructure emergencies, which definitely overlap. I mean, like, so you have that horrible earthquake, you're going to lose your roadways, right? If you're going to lose power, you're going to, if you have a fire, going to lose power. Like, it's guaranteed.
Yeah. And something interesting about the man-made issues are that, well, they're man-made, right? So it's like we get so dependent on a system that when it's down for just a little bit, it becomes a problem. Right?
Yes.
Because generally these man-made issues, like if we weren't dependent on the systems, or we were less dependent, they'd be less problematic in most cases.
And that's honestly really our goal in not just this podcast and not just in my shop, but in all of our conversations, is to help people to become resilient, is to become less dependent on the infrastructure, that's so that in the event of any of these events, we're not as impacted and we're able to cope. We're able to become a resource to those around us, and that we as a community are able to become even more resilient.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that this makes me think of is in every single ice storm, I end up hearing about how people are dealing with, like, the power's been out for a week and they're now dealing with rotten, spoiled food. And like, it's an ice storm. Take it out of your refrigerator, put it outside. Like, put it in a cooler outside, even move your refrigerator outside. I don't know. Like, it's just, let's think about it for a couple of seconds and realize, like, we've got cold outside and we're trying to make it warm inside.
Right.
Just move the food that needs to stay cold outside.
Yep. Absolutely.
So some of it is just a matter of thinking.
It is. Well, and that's kind of what I want to get into is just the mindset of being prepared includes that is like, oh, this is logical. It's cold outside. Awesome. My freezer doesn't need to function because I have one outside. I've seen the picture of somebody opens the front door and snowbank and they've got all of their, like, everything stuffed into the snow. Like, yes, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about man-made or infrastructure emergencies.
Okay, so the first one that came to mind is power. Our power system is fairly fragile. All of our power, obviously that is powering all of our stuff, was just made. There isn't really a buffer there of much. I mean, we're talking megawatts in a region, like, it's not much of a buffer. The battery systems are just not. Now, at a home, you can easily have a battery system that can sustain your house for quite a long time, just not the regional electric grid. So any kind of an event, ice storm, fire, earthquake, something more nefarious, grid can go down pretty darn easy. So having some way, something to generate electricity, natural gas, diesel, gasoline, solar, wind, hydro, whatever, preferably two of the, two or more of the above list.
Yep.
Because, two is one is none. Um, just because you never know. And
Mhm.
okay, so you've got your gasoline one. Awesome until you run out of fuel.
Right.
Then what? Well,
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah. And
they got
again,
it
it
back
comes
up.
comes down to like, what do you prioritize? How do you do it?
Yep.
I'm unless you have natural gas to your home,
Right.
I'm a big naysayer about whole home generators.
Oh, yes, right.
'Cause,
Yeah.
you can run your propane out in a week, live like a king for a week, and then what?
And then what?
Yeah.
Well, and that's my issue with a lot of the preppers is you use your stockpile inventory and then what?
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same idea as like, save what you eat what you save. If you don't plan to how to continue to propagate things, whether it's growing food, growing, raising animals, if you don't have that type of infrastructure set up or aren't working towards that, you're really at a disadvantage.
Mhm.
And that's where community comes in. Like, hey, I've got the blackest of thumbs, and animals hate me. They just keel up and die. Okay, what can you do? Well, I'm a really decent welder, and I can make almost anything work. Cool, we can work something out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't trade, getting their motorcycle up and running for some sweet potatoes, like
Yeah. Oh
if
yeah. Right.
if each of you needed those services, why not?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and almost always there's something to trade, but that's why most preppers keep a little bit of silver or something else on hand just in
Yeah.
case, whatever they have stockpiled isn't what the other person needs.
Yeah, it's good to have that little intermediate currency to
Mhm.
do stuff. Absolutely. So grid failures, fuel shortages. I mean, I wasn't alive for the 70s, fuel shortages, but I could absolutely see that coming back around. Sure. I mean, yeah, it doesn't take much for, a pipeline to be damaged and no longer being able to supply a refinery, or a refinery becoming damaged and no longer being able to refine. It's again a fairly fragile infrastructure.
Yeah, and having something like a monthly rotational 5-gallon gasoline system where you've got 5-gallon tanks, jerry cans maybe, but you use one every month and then you refill it and then you use the next one the next month. So you never
Yeah,
have
don't let them sit.
gasoline that's what's that?
Don't let them sit.
No. So you never have gasoline that's more than a year old.
Yeah.
And then if you have something like a motorcycle, if you need to get somewhere, you've got a highly efficient vehicle that will get you somewhere for a long time on, your gas. What's 12 times 5? So you can go a long distance with that.
Mhm. Yes, you absolutely could. Yeah, there were some areas, yeah, there were some fuel restrictions during COVID. Yeah, there were some areas that, like, yeah, no, you can only have X amount, and it's like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, I didn't experience that, but
Yeah, in some
I'm
some
sure there were
regions,
regions.
right? Water system failures. We don't even have to be in the middle of a disaster. Like our water system in Van Buren sucks. I mean, I would not drink that stuff. I was even
Mhm.
thinking about it, it's like I take showers and like there's aerosolized vapor that I'm inhaling. Like that can't be good either.
No.
Ugh.
No, I
I need
put a
get a whole house.
three-stage carbon filter on a whole house, and that
Yeah,
gets rid of most of the stuff that's gonna aerosolize, but
I need that.
yeah, it's inexpensive. If, people are interested, just reach out to me, I can help you get that figured out.
Yeah, I was looking at a couple different vendors. The one from, was it Ice Spring, I think, looked
Mhm.
pretty decent for the for cost wise.
Yeah, iSpring is a great one. I think Water Drop is another, and I think
Yep,
they're basically the same thing.
I think so. I use Water Drop
Yeah.
for a couple of the items in the shop. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. But yeah, they're 2 or 3-stage filters with, basically the basic carbon filter. It will get that 80-20 rule again. It'll get most of the
Right.
volatiles and junk out that you don't want.
Yeah. Well, and that's so like something that I sell in the shop is the Procter and Gamble little pouches. It's multi-stage, so it's a flocculant, so it'll grab onto anything that's in suspension in the water. It'll drop it out. Then over the next half an hour, there's a chemical reaction that occurs that forms a chlorine-ish, type, and it will chemically sterilize, clean-ish.
Mhm.
I still recommend running it through a filter just to weed out that stuff that's dropped out, but technically you could drink it. Just having a couple of those, I mean, like each pouch, I think is rated for 2.5 gallons.
Mhm.
You can get a dozen pouches of them for, a couple bucks. You've got some water for a while at least.
Yeah.
Or you can get, your life straw, or if you've got a Berkey / Burrow, or Alexa Pure or whatever. That way you don't, if you have a boil notice, you're like, I'm already filtering it. I don't care.
And you should be, because a boil notice comes in two circumstances.
Mm,
One, if the pipe got opened and they know it, if there's some type of potential backwash into it.
right.
Or two, if somebody's sick already from it, and that somebody could have been you. So
Right.
don't drink direct tap water. It's just a bad idea.
It is. It is. Well, and there's a lot of reasons, not just contaminants, but even what they add to the water
Mhm.
isn't necessarily good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
I
get a
mean,
good water
chloramine,
filtration.
do you really want to drink chloramine?
Yeah.
And do you
Even
like
fluoride and
yeah.
like, no, I don't. No,
Yeah.
thank
Well,
you.
and the fluoride it's a different chemical makeup than even the stuff that's recommended for your teeth.
Oh yeah. Right.
So, like,
Yeah.
it's a chemical byproduct. Don't drink it.
Not the same. Yeah. Yeah.
No. And it's hard to get out too. It's
Yeah.
difficult to remove. So something like an RO filter is useful.
Yeah,
Um,
reverse osmosis is great. Well, and that's why I ended up with Alexa Pure, was because Alexa Pure naturally filters out chlorine, whereas like the Berkey / Burrow. Actually, I have not tested or seen the Burrow
it's
trace.
the same.
Is it the same?
It's
It's the same
identical.
guy. I mean, or
Yeah.
one of the same guys.
It's the
Um,
same company. What happened is they just spun up a new company that was doing the manufacturing already with a slightly different marketing so that they could get around the FDA
right,
garbage.
because of their silver component of being what do they call it? I don't
It
remember.
was a pesticide.
A pesticide. That's what it's like.
Mhm.
Pesticide. What do you think is in the water? Like what?
Yeah, because they made the claim that it could kill off bacteria.
Bacterias. Yeah. It's like,
And
well,
so now Burrow says they use the silver to reduce the growth of bacteria over time in the filter.
in the filter, right? Which
Mhm.
isn't wrong.
No.
Um, yes, yeah. So if you've got a Berkey and you need filters, go to Burrow.
Yep.
It's the French spelling of Burrow. Anyway, okay. So water systems, boil nose, yeah. Cyber attacks, communication outages. We've seen this. I mean, physical attacks, whether it's a bomb in Nashville, taking out AT&T. Was it AT&T or is that Verizon?
Is AT&T.
Is AT&T okay?
Mhm.
Or a direct, cyber attack. Communication. It's one of the reasons I sell radios, because communication is so important. When you have no connection to the outside world, it is so demoralizing. It is so everything becomes so difficult. Having some connection to another human being can make a huge difference. I just can't, say enough about that.
Yeah.
Like,
I've been looking into those decentralized mesh networks.
yeah,
Was it Meshtastic is
Meshtastic.
one. There's another one that's apparently quite a bit better.
Yeah,
Um,
I
and I
was
can't remember the name of
just
it at the
talking to a
moment.
guy about that this last week. Yeah, they look really
But
cool. I'm
yeah,
very curious.
yeah, end-to-end encryption.
Yep.
The other one, Meshtastic, is like 3 hops, which doesn't get you very far, but the other one's up to 30, I think, or something. So
Wow.
yeah, some options there.
That is cool. Yeah, and there are, and that's one of the wonderful things about this. As technology goes on, we're getting more and more of those, because there's more
Mhm.
and more of us nerds are going like, you know what, decentralize this. Let's figure this out. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know enough people on high hills that we could probably get a network set up between me and you.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, it'd be
Heck
pretty
yeah.
cool.
Let's go.
I mean, it might be, several $1,000s to install, but,
Yeah.
no big
Details.
deal. Yeah.
So have a
So
GoFundMe. No.
that's right. So what else you got on man-made, potential?
Chemical spills, industrial
Mhm.
accidents. This is one of those like earthquakes can cause it, train derailments can cause it. On possible less like but less likely scenarios, we need cargo rail lines. Yes, toxic spills. Exactly.
Yep.
Yes. And do that. So I actually got to meet a guy. He works for the lab. They are the largest lab in the nation. And that's what they do is they're the ones who test all of the samples that are collected after those spills. And I
Mhm.
was asking him like, so, how's business? He's just like, it's crazy. We are so
Yeah.
busy. Like we are busy. I was like, oh, oh, like that's not good.
No. Well, and you look at, like, East Palestine, which was they made a big like, people actually noticed there was another one, I believe, in Georgia that was pretty much as bad.
Yeah.
And the testing, I don't know how much you know about this, but the testing, they were testing for different chemical compounds than they were supposed to be, or
Mm.
than would have been the problem in this scenario. And
Oh,
so they're like, "Oh yeah, they're at okay levels, kind of." And the compounds that you wanna know about or that you should know about, they're not testing for. Um,
nice.
yeah, so then, like, okay, so people downstream or people in this town, how much do they actually know about what they're getting exposed to? And so
Right.
if you're in this situation, do you know that that's what they're doing? Do you know that that's a consistent thing, is that these railroads don't test for the proper chemicals?
Oh, right.
Mhm. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Interesting.
Or in North Carolina, they had I actually talked with Billy Bond and a couple of other people who were involved in the cleanup from a permaculture standpoint, which is one of the only ways that worked for the chemical spills there. So there were one of the big chemical spills that didn't get a lot of press was in North Carolina from the hurricanes was actually a PVC solvent from the PVC factories.
Ooh.
Now, the reason that becomes such a huge issue is that it eats through all the PPE.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if you put on
Oh,
a suit or rubber
right.
boots, so these
I'm
people were
protected.
walking,
No, you're
yeah,
not.
people are walking around um, trying to get through the mud because the mud's several feet deep,
Oh,
and it
no.
starts eating through their boots and burning their
Oh,
skin.
oh. Yeah,
So,
that's not good.
yeah, um, it's just something to consider, like, what's surrounding you, what's
Yeah.
upstream from you.
Yes, right. And that is a good thing to know is just like where are all of the processing plants that are nearby? Where, like do you have a heavy mineral, somebody who deals with like nasty stuff, or maybe it used to be what were we talking about? Was it 2 weeks ago when we were talking about
Yeah, with Anthony about
Anthony?
Monsanto.
Monsanto, those lakes. I went and looked it
Yeah,
up after it. Those are disgusting. Like I went and looked at the Google image of the Monsanto lakes.
yeah.
They're like the most putrid green,
Ooh,
and they're just dead. Oh,
mhm,
it's ah. And so yeah. So what happens when you have a big flood and that goes washing down the river?
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
because yeah, I mean, that's an absolute possibility. It could push those up over the banks, and it goes washing down the river, and now, it's a couple months later, and you're eating a fish from that, and you have no idea that there's PFAOs or whatever in that fish.
right.
Now you're ingesting them, or you
Yep.
don't know how that worked its way up the food chain either.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, yeah, and knowing, prevailing winds
Yes.
in your area is really important too for just kind of planning for these events. If a forest fire is going to come, what's the most likely? And I think was it the Paradise Fire that or the campfire that went a different direction than normal?
It was weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
winds don't ever come that way. That was wrong. It was all sorts of wrong.
Yeah.
I remember
That
walking
was
out of the
true in
hospital
Lahaina too, but that's a different
and having the wind in my
story.
face, and it was hot, and there was ash in it. I was like, "Hey, Meg, get the kids and the dogs and get out."
Yeah. Wow. That's scary.
It sucked. Um, Chemical spills, transportation disruptions, supply chains, and then actually, my mom just commented. Where was it? There it is. Okay, and totally forgotten. I don't know why. EMF ish, solar flares.
Mhm,
So yeah, a any kind of solar flare, solar activity, if it's directed at us,
mhm. A
can
CMR.
rip. Yeah, yeah, coronal mass ejection. Yeah, can absolutely rip through our magnetosphere and disrupt high level communications easily, and even low level infrastructure.
Mhm.
You can induce current flow in power lines because they basically act as a giant antenna. And what will typically happen is you're going to pop shunts. You're going to pop the shunts that are along the power lines, and they're going to blow out. They're designed to do that. That's fine. That's fairly easily replaced. When you have problems is when it starts blowing capacitors at the main at distribution stations.
Mhm.
Those aren't cheap, aren't readily available, are difficult to install. There you have a problem. Um,
Transformers as well.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
You the likelihood. So I've been doing some research into like the silent bags and all the things for they're very good at specific frequencies at specific attenuation.
Mhm.
Um, Whether they be effective in that, they're going to be better than nothing. Absolutely, yes. Um, are they going to be sufficient for a giant CME? Don't know. Better than nothing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you've got, if people want to learn about this, look up the Carrington event.
Yeah, that's a
That's,
wild one.
that's a wild one. So that was when telegraphs were basically all that there was for
Yep.
distance communications. And there were all kinds of crazy induction
Oh
events
yeah,
and things.
poles bursting into flames, and yeah,
People getting thrown off the telegraph
yeah,
machines.
things
Yeah.
popping, and yeah, it was it was wild.
Yeah, and so if something as big as the Carrington event were to happen now, I think we probably have a lower magnetosphere as well. So
Mhm.
we'd have an even bigger issue, along with everything basically running on electrical and all of our
Yes.
communicate. Like everything's based on communication too. So our grid, not only are we going to have the physical infrastructure of the grid knocked out, but the communication infrastructure that keeps the grid running will be knocked out as well.
Yeah, because the grid has to be completely synchronized,
Mhm.
and just the ability to synchronize everything would be lost. And so now all of your power plants can't synchronize with each other in order to maintain phase, and yeah, it goes downhill
Yep.
quickly. Yeah. Yeah, I think our magnetosphere is 10% lower than it was than the Carrington effect or something like that.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, Mike.
Michael, I love this question. Um, okay, so Jared, tell me if you think I'm blowing hot air on this one. But my thought
Okay.
is, if you're in an area that's unlikely to be directly targeted by an EMF, so an EMF being a man-made event,
Yes.
as opposed to a CMR or a coronal mass ejection being a broader solar event.
Mhm.
So an EMF or electromagnetic
It's
what's that
electromagnetic, yeah, force,
force?
but yeah.
Um, that would be like, let's say the big boogeyman Russia setting off a nuke
Yeah.
300 miles into space.
Yeah.
Um, usually that's going to be directed over a certain landmass. Um, where we're at may be affected, but probably not as much as just that it would shut down the grid.
Yes.
So EMP, there we go. Thank you, Rocket Pines. Being a, yeah, uh, electromagnetic pulse. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I think that a lot of the basic solar systems that people would set up could be somewhat insulated depending on where you're at.
Mhm.
And
Definitely.
your grid would go down for sure because there'd be the other parts of the grid would be being affected. But yes, one could weather it potentially. And if you did a little bit of extra work to make sure your grounding was proper and things like that, I think there's a good chance that it would
Yeah.
survive.
So if you have a grid tied system where it's grid synced, that's obviously going to not work because you don't have a
Mhm.
grid to sync to. If you proper grounding and having inline breakers, fuses, something to be able to prevent the more delicate um, devices from being damaged, because
Mhm.
that they're not actually going to get much of an induced current flow. Not likely. Your larger cables that are going from your panels are more likely to take the brunt. So having decent breakers slash fuse something or another inline there that's easily replaced. Have extras.
Mhm.
I would agree with that. You would probably be just fine.
Yep. And one thing that you could do is your most likely item to be damaged in an event like that is going to be your inverter charge
Yep.
controller. And so those they're expensive, but compared to the batteries and the mounting systems, they're not
Right.
that bad.
Yeah.
Having an extra one on a shelf inside of a shipping container
Hmm.
that's not connected to anything, that's
Right.
isolated,
Yep.
you could potentially just swap it in.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of grounding, so somebody actually we were talking about EMPs, and I asked him like, well, "Don't you have like some ammo cans laying around?" He's like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Dude, an ammo can. If you ground that sucker,
Mhm.
it's a Faraday cage. It's going to shunt everything to ground. So like if you got old, power cord for something, snip that sucker off, pull out the grounding wire, solder it right to an ammo can, burnish up the contact point between the lid and the body. If you
Mhm.
really want to be clever about it, get some foil tape and run it around there. It's nothing's going to go through that.
Yeah.
It's going to shut
Self-tapping
down.
screws.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
The same for like a galvanized garbage can. If you ground it
Yep.
and still you want to put some type of insulator between your device and the
Yeah, it
Faraday
shouldn't be
cage that I
laying in
spoke of.
contact with the metal.
Yep.
It should be a isolated rubber, any kind of, you know, something to separate it.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, there's lots of ways to do that. Even microwaves,
Yeah,
um,
I mean,
they're
again, better than
not as
nothing.
good, but yeah, and they are connected to ground. So
Yeah,
uh,
they are, and they are already designed to filter out frequencies.
yep. And you could cut off the if it's dead, you could cut off the hot and neutral terminals and
Yeah,
just have it ground.
and just have the ground prong. Yeah,
Mhm.
which is by far the best. I mean, I would say keep the neutral leg because it's also going to be bonded. But yeah,
Yeah, fair. Um, all right, now that we've talked about EMPs, which are
okay.
a
So
low likelihood.
these are all kind of the outlying events that are potentials, things that we can consider. Like if you live in the Dakotas and you have, a whole bunch of nuclear silos right up the street from you, you might be a target for an EMP because, if there was somebody trying to do something nefarious, they're going to go after they don't want to get somebody launching against them. If you
Yeah,
live near DC or in, any other big cities, that might be a concern. But Middle Tennessee, there really isn't much out here that I'm concerned would be a target for that. Can you think of anything?
Oak Ridge.
Yeah, but that's north and all the prevailing winds go that way. So I'm
Yeah,
okay with that.
but EMP wise,
Yeah.
I don't think that that's what they'd target,
I
anyways.
would,
But it's there.
yep, sure. That's valid. Yeah. So anyway, so it's kind of location based. And so coming down to your home, like, and it's location slash um probability.
Hmm.
So the most likely things that could potentially happen are probably having a house fire. I mean, really,
Hmm.
or like a water pipe burst. Um, and I know those aren't they're not as sexy. They're not as cool to be prepared for a water pipe burst. But you know what? That's the kind of stuff that really is more likely to happen. Or your neighbor has a water pipe burst or a fire. Okay, now you can help because you're prepared for that, right? So like for us, like having a safe room, having a shelter in place, here. Yeah, sometimes the winds do blow the other direction. That is true. I don't want to be overly cocky.
Who cares about Oak Ridge?
I know, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, having a location that's identified, and I've even I offer this to our neighbors that have above ground homes that don't have. It's like, hey, if y'all need a place, we have a basement. It's not the biggest, it's not the nicest, but it's here.
Mhm.
And back to community. So yeah, have a safe room, and have that plan in place. Have talk with your family. Like, hey, look, if something happens, then we do this. If
Right.
we have a fire, where do we meet? Well, we meet out by the fire hydrant out in front of the shop. Just so that if the kids are playing out in the field and I'm in the shop and Meg's in the house and something explodes, we all have that common place to go to. Communication. I can't harp on communication enough. Over
Yeah.
communicate. Assume nothing.
Yeah, assume nothing and have multiple channels like you've talked about. Have have some walkie-talkies where, maybe you and your neighbors have them plugged in all the time, or you've got
Yeah.
a weather channel on, so it'll alert you when it goes off, and if your neighbors call and they're like, "Hey, there's a tornado coming," and you didn't
Like,
get the alert
oh,
somehow, now you know, right? Um,
absolutely.
so yeah, having various forms of communication is really important.
Well, and yeah, and that's why whenever I do a radio setup for somebody, I always have the Van Buren channel. So like everybody I've set up for in this area, we have one channel so that if there were something bad to happen, we can all switch to that channel. I might not be able to get to everybody. I might not be able to hear everybody, but kind of like the mesh network,
Mhm.
we can daisy chain, we can hop, we can go, hey, so and so, you can talk over the top of the ridge, you can get down into that holler, find out if so and so is okay.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it becomes a human network
yeah,
of sorts. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, which is really my goal. Is like I want to hand it off and go, okay, now y'all have the frequencies, y'all have the radios, y'all have the infrastructure. Now talk to each other and do it. It
Mhm.
doesn't require me anymore, which is great.
Yeah. Be nice if you could have like a 2-minute a month,
Yeah, just check
channel
in.
check or something.
That would be fun. Maybe I should do
Yeah.
that. Do that. I like that. We're doing that.
There you go.
So having your safe room, having your communication, check on if you've got a generator, check on that sucker. Ham radio. Heck yeah, man. I will get you your cable. I'm sorry. I apologize. I've been telling Vic that I would get him this it's sitting right here. I have it. I will send it to you. I promise. Anyway, um, generator. Oh yeah, generator. Check your generator. Like I can't tell
Mhm.
you how many when I worked at the motorcycle shop, how many generators came in because the snowpocalypse is coming and like everybody goes out to test and like, oh no, my carburetor is completely clogged up. Like, yeah, because you let it sit and it turned to varnish. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
First of all, don't use ethanol
I
gasoline
love
in your
that. Thank you.
generator. Secondly, start it and run it out of gas, and then, you know, turn the fuel line off to shut it off
Yes.
instead of turning
Let
the
it run
switch
it
to shut
dry.
it off. Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, go over your generator, figure out how to use the sucker. Like, I don't know how many times, oh, I've got this thing sitting in a box. Like, you've never unboxed it. Like, you realize that they had a lead acid battery in it, right? And that's
Yeah.
really dead now.
That
Like,
Schrodinger's generator, I believe, is what that
will
is.
it run? Both will and will not.
Does it even exist?
Right. Yes. Emergency lighting, it's one of those simple things. Having like, obviously I always, carry my pocket flashlight, but like having a stock of decent, they don't even have to be really great lights, even just those, stupid dollar light, it's better than nothing. It'll get you to the bathroom and back. It'll, you know, it's better than stubbing your toe, right?
Yep.
So
If you've got power tools, grab one of those super cheap,
yeah,
top of battery mount, um,
yes,
flashlights that
they're
also has
stupid
USB
bright.
plugs on it.
Oh yeah, those are even better.
So now if you've got, I don't know, say 5 DeWalt 4 amp hour batteries, you can keep your phone charged for a couple of weeks if you're careful with it.
Yeah,
Have batteries for day or flashlights for days. And then you can use direct solar to recharge it if
exactly.
you want to go that route.
And we've talked about that. So go
Yep.
back and rewatch that episode whenever you want to know more about that. Medical. Medical. Where is it? There. Medical. Always have some medical. Because in an emergency, you may not be able to rely on having somebody show up because odds are if it's really an emergency, they're going to be busy with other people. Have medical, get training, be a resource to your neighbors. Again, back to the communication. So if we have the radios, we can talk to each other. Hey, I fell, or hey, a tree dropped on so and so's house. Let's get over there. Bring your med stuff. Yeah,
Yep. Rocky Pine says, curious, one
I could
rabbit
go
hole
way
is,
down
for
that rabbit
instance,
hole. Yeah, no kidding. For
building
instance,
gasifier. What I'll say about that is that modern generators will not run very long on a gasifier.
oh,
So if you're going to
too
do
ashy.
that, yeah, it's going to just have too much gunk left over.
Sure.
And so you'll gum up your basically you could run this in a old Volkswagen Bug because they could,
Okay.
I mean, you could run those things as a two-stroke just about.
Yeah.
They were so resilient, but you're if you can get a hold of like an old Onan generator, maybe you could do it, or an old Kohler generator, but
Okay.
those are going to be really dirty power. So do you want that? And
I guess it's better than nothing. I mean, like
Mhm.
you end up with char and a fuel source for you know at the same time. So
A gasifier, I think, would be great for, if not for a generator or for a fuel source necessarily. But you can, if you gasify the wood that you're burning and basically reintroduce it to the chamber, you can get a lot more energy out
because
of
you're doing a multi-stage burn.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's some things you can do where it can be really useful, but my personal opinion is with a generator, it's not going to be viable for very long.
Fair enough. Yeah. Um, okay, medical readiness, defensible space. So this one was more kind of dependent on location. Here out, we're rural Tennessee. We have pretty decent defensible spaces. In urban environments, that gets a little bit dicier. Just be aware. Know your neighbors. I mean, it really
Mhm.
still comes down to the same thing. It's like know your neighbors. If somebody weird is walking around and snooping around, you'll recognize that that's odd.
Right.
Um, yeah. So yeah,
Well, and
having
even
defensible spaces. Good.
this is just a knowing your neighbors story from today, like
Really
actually today.
cool.
Um, my neighbor and I have been fighting a development going in next to me
Oh
that's
yeah.
being done illegally on multiple fronts. But
Mm,
one of the issues is now that they're putting houses in again illegally, um, they're parking on our road, which is a single lane road with
yeah.
no shoulder.
Yeah.
Like there's no fire truck getting down our road with those guys parked there.
Right.
And
Not cool.
so, I don't exactly have time to run around and call or talk to my, very corrupt mayor or, um, my roads department or
Right.
my sheriff or whatever else. Um, but I have a neighbor who has an office job and can make phone calls during the day where I'm not able to. And so we've
Cool.
been communicating, and she's able to basically get a hold of the sheriff's office and say, "Hey, emergency vehicles can't get down our road, and they're destroying our entire roadway by with the construction." So, now
Nice.
they're forced off the road, and so just knowing your neighbors, like that could be an issue if you had somebody who needed an ambulance or there was a fire, not being able to get vehicles back there, and just knowing your neighbors and being able to communicate is really important.
Sure. Yeah, I could totally. Yeah. Yep.
So, man, I think we're only partway through
I
this.
know, right? I
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah, we'll rip through this. Like, no, we did not.
No.
That's okay. I've got more
Um,
for next episode. We can.
yeah, I think we can break it into two. I'm trying to figure out how far along we are, and I think we've got maybe a couple more sections we can get through,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, because we can rip through a couple of these fairly quick, and there are kind of a lot of things that we have talked about in the past.
Mhm.
Okay,
So I
so
think we're
defensible
kind of
space.
on EDC at this point, right?
Yeah, that's basically where we're at. Is yeah, EDC, personal readiness, vehicle preparedness kits. I'm a big proponent of it. I think if you've watched any of the episodes before, I've talked about it almost ad nauseum. Just being prepared, having stuff with it, making it a scalable system. Don't try to bring the whole kitchen sink and everything in your backpack. Don't do that. Um, the whole bug out bag. Okay, so that's kind of a separate issue. I don't like the idea of leaving my home in an emergency. I want to get back to my home in an emergency. Personal preference,
Yes.
but I think it's more likely and more logical. Um, so having a way, a having the equipment necessary to get me home, and that does not require me to have every possible thing. I have one in here somewhere about weight versus capability trade-offs. I could have every eventuality covered. But I'm going to be incredibly ineffective in being able to travel. I'm not going to be able to go in rough terrain. It's going to be rough. It's going to be hard on my body. It's going to take me longer. I'm going to burn more calories. I'm going to burn more water. But then again, on the other side of the equation, like I could go super minimalist and like go with, a hook and some fishing string and that's it. Yeah, that would work, but like that would be fairly miserable. So there's a middle ground there.
Yeah, have a knife and a few other things at
Yeah,
very
and
least,
and
right?
come by the shop and I can help you build a decent bag.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, redundancy and layering is really important for just everyday carry. Like don't just rely on a singular item of clothes to be warm. Because something could happen where you might need to shed that and now you're really cold. Or you start sweating and now you're sweating and that makes everything worse. And don't forget cotton kills. Don't yeah, don't rely on cotton, wool or something else. Um, darn tough socks. I want to become a darn tough dealer so bad, but they require me to spend a lot of money every year. Okay. Types of preparedness: medical health preparedness, first aid, trauma care. 580 tactical. There we go. It's like brain fart. If you're in the Middle Tennessee area and you want a good trauma class, 580 tactical does a fantastic one. He gives you an IFAC, an individual first aid kit, and teaches you how to use it. And you spend the whole day learning how to use your IFAC. Scenario based, like let's extract somebody from the car and drag them over, and let's apply a tourniquet and a chest seal and a like the whole kit, right? And he feeds you too. So if you want a good
Nice.
trauma course, hit up 580tactical.com. Hit him up on Instagram, whatever. He does his classes quarterly, I want to say. Something like that.
Well,
I think he's
and training is such an important point. It's something I lack on the medical side. Just because, I've done CPR, but it's been like 15 years. So
sure.
do I remember it well enough to, is somebody telling me how to sing Staying Alive while I while
That's
I
it.
do chest compressions really that helpful? Um, it's how long does the pertinent information actually stick in your brain in such a way that you can use it in a emergency situation?
Mhm. Yeah,
Um,
because
so
we never unfortunately rise to our expectations. We fail down to our training.
mhm.
Um, and so the better your training is, the farther or the less farther you fall, however you want to say that. You don't fall as
Softer
far.
landing or
The
something
softer
like
landing,
that.
there you go. I
Yeah,
like it. Yeah, so training, and that's on everything. Literally everything. But yes, I highly recommend. I should do another CPR class. I didn't do
you
I
should.
did one last March. I think I did. We should do that. So yeah, stop the bleed classes. There's the for Red Cross puts them out. You can go a lot of places. A lot of companies even will either host it or pay for you to attend because it's good for them. It looks good on them to have people who have training in their building. So talk to your HR departments, find out if that's an option for your business,
Yeah,
to
for
get
sure.
CPR trained, to get stop the bleed trained, to get trauma, whatever. Yeah, doesn't hurt to
And
ask.
I think people tend not to think about it. It's kind of like life insurance where you're like, I don't want to talk about getting life insurance because that's talking about me dying.
Right.
Right. And it's the same kind of idea. Like, I don't really ever want to deal with a situation like that. So I don't want to get training for it, even if that's kind of the subconscious, not the actually out there thing. And so I just
Right.
encourage people to, you know, get over that and
Yeah, honestly.
go get
Well, and
training.
it's one of the things I've been trying to teach my kids is become comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Mhm.
It's really easy to allow that discomfort to stop us from doing things, whether and that could be anything, like even us being on video. I hate being in front of a camera. I hate it so much. But it's one of those things like, you know what? I think that I have something to say. And I want to be able to say it. So it's like I'm uncomfortable, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah. I had to harass you for quite a while to do
You
the
did.
podcast,
And
which is fine. But yeah, you're right. I don't particularly like it. I don't really like making the videos I do for the most part either. But it's like, it's important, it's good information. It's helpful
yes.
to other people. So I'm going to do it. And hopefully I get better each time I try.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Okay, so yeah, so I've kind of got I kind of delved into the weeds a little bit on the medical stuff. That's get trained. Get a decent med kit and get trained. Water and food preparedness and storage. Again, like there's a lot of off the shelf products like ReadyWise. That's a good calorically dense per dollar for shelf stability. So I kind of created an equation. I'm so a nerd. I made this spreadsheet and I evaluated all of the different manufacturers based on shelf life, caloric density, and how much they cost. So how much it costs per calorie over time with the density. Anyway, and I ended up with ReadyWise as
Yeah.
my go-to.
Nice.
But there's a lot of options there. I mean, even MREs, they're better than nothing.
Mhm.
And it's good to have something on hand so that if there was another snowstorm and you just didn't want to go out and you're like,
Yeah.
oh crap, I need something and I don't have power, so I can't cook something. Hey, I have an MRE. It heats itself. Awesome. I still get to have a warm meal.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Or I'm
Also
stuck
have
in
a
my
camp
car.
stove on hand.
Huh?
Said also have a camp stove on hand.
Well, yes, there's that. Yeah, but have a
Yeah.
carbon monoxide detector too. Um,
Right.
um, but like, yeah, I've been stuck in a car and like, shoot, I'm stuck in a snowbank. Well, somebody's coming, but I'm hungry now and I would like something warm on my stomach. Hey, look, I have an MRE. That's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
ReadyWise also has a self-heating one if you want that too. I've got this. Um,
Nice.
yeah. Water's really important. And having good clean water is really, really important. It really sucks to drink bad water. That I don't wish that on anyone. It is miserable. I thought it was good water. It was not good water. It was not a pleasant night. I'll just say that. Um, have a good filter. Procter and Gamble's got their little packets that works. Membrane Solutions has a decent Life Straw-esque filter. Sawyer is phenomenal. Platypus is great, expensive, but great. Grail is good, expensive. There's a lot of options out there. Get a good filter, keep it on hand, keep it in your get home bag, keep it in your vehicle. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can actually live longer than we're told you can without water, but it gets pretty miserable pretty
Gets real miserable.
fast.
Yeah.
And
Muscles
people who
don't
aren't
like
used to
to
doing that,
work
yeah.
when they're
Well,
not wet.
yeah, and somebody who's not used to doing that and doesn't
Mm,
quite like their body isn't used to it, like you're
yeah.
gonna get so thirsty, you're gonna drink stupid stuff.
Yes, you'll make stupid decisions and you'll drink stupid stuff.
Mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You're gonna
And
feel like you're dying way before you are.
yes, you will. And honestly, push yourself. Try it. Go
Mhm.
for a day. Figure out what it actually feels like in a controlled environment. Like that's okay. You're like, oh, this is what that feels like
Yep.
when you wake up and your mouth is just absolutely dry, where your tongue is stuck to the roof of your mouth. Like that's a very unpleasant way to wake up. It's good to know though.
Yeah.
It's good to know what you can endure.
Well, and do your own research here, but dry fasting can actually be a really beneficial thing for your body.
Sure.
There's actually a good chunk of research on this that suggests that it can be really good for you if done right, if done carefully and in a controlled environment.
Right.
Do your own research.
Right.
But yeah, good to test your what your body is capable of.
Mhm. Yeah, because you don't know. Like I went out with my son for a walk, And I asked him like, "How far do you think we could walk?" He's like, "I think we can walk a mile." I'm like, okay. And so we walked and we got to a mile. I'm like, "Are you tired?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Well, we walked a mile. Do you think we can walk further?" He's like, "Yeah, I think we can." So we walked 2 miles. I'm like, "Okay, we walked 2 miles. You think we can keep going?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm getting kind of tired." But I'm like, until you've pushed yourself, you're never going to know how far you can go. You
Right.
have to push yourself beyond that point. And that comes back to being comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's where true growth is.
Yep. Absolutely. A few blisters never hurt anyone too much.
It hurt, yeah. Temporarily. It's temporary pain.
Right.
Um, so yeah, so having good food plans, first in, first out. If you don't have a first in, first out system in your pantry, I recommend starting one. If you're not familiar, basically it's when you add something to your pantry, take the oldest thing out of your pantry, or
Hmm.
the other way around. Um, they make some really cool racks if you really want to get all, space agey and cool, and they have the like zigzag racks so that you put the new one on top and then it rolls down and comes out at the bottom. They're pretty cool. They're expensive, but they're cool.
That works
Um,
well if you have tin canned food.
yes,
But
true.
yeah. Um,
Put name or put dates on things then.
yeah, well, absolutely. You put dates on things. You can use shelves that sit out from the wall a little bit, or you can manage it other ways. But if the shelf sits out from the wall a little bit, you put in from the back, you take
Yep.
out from the front.
Yep.
Um, Basically like what you do if you're running a grocery store, right?
Yes, exactly.
But my Nicole, who's been on before, she consistently says, eat what you store and store what you eat.
Yes.
And I think a lot of people look at something, and I think there's value in having, some type of long-term storage food. Um,
Oh, rice and beans.
yeah, or it's not Mountain House. What did you have?
Ready
The
Wise.
Ready Wise.
Yeah,
Yeah, having something like that, there's a place for it, but most of what you have should be things that you would eat anyways.
absolutely agreed.
So whether that's a
Absolutely
freezer
agreed.
full of meat or canned stuff from your garden,
Mhm.
and then just label it and cycle it through and get used to. And even if it is tin can stuff that you actually eat,
Yeah,
get used to cycling it through. And they call it copy canning, where you figure out what you're actually eating in a week or a month or whatever. You
yeah,
keep track of that, and then
yeah.
you just buy an extra one next time you're at the store,
Mhm.
and do that for a while until you have X number of months, whatever you're, you know,
Whatever your goal is. Yeah.
right, on the
Mhm.
shelf.
Oh, yeah, I always highly recommend, like, whatever, yeah, buy an extra can of whatever whenever you're at the store, because then it accumulates, and yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't wanna shock your body by eating completely different food in an emergency.
Right.
Then you're dealing with all sorts of other issues that
Mhm.
you don't want to be dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if you're eating beans, first of all, they're probably gonna be dry, so now did you store enough propane to cook them long enough to make it
right,
edible?
right,
But
and
then,
crunch,
like, what
crunch.
does that do to your digestion? And did you store enough toilet paper to deal with what it does to your digestion? Right? So, like, there's consequences for storing something that you don't otherwise generally eat.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah,
and knowing how to prepare it. Yeah, so you go to do your lentils and you're like, "How do I cook this?" Like, because
right.
now I don't have access to the internet, so I have no idea how to prepare this.
Yeah. I don't have ChatGPT anymore.
Right?
How do I do this?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so, yeah, so short-term versus long-term food plans, and then the last one that I think I wanna cover tonight, yeah, we're at 14 after, is skill-based, is just kind of what we started off talking about, is developing the skills that are the quintus are important to survival and being prepared, because inevitably our tools will fail. What won't fail, hopefully, is what we have up here, is our experience and our knowledge. So and that's why I sell so many books, is because I care about not necessarily people having all of the equipment. The equipment is great. It makes it a lot easier. Absolutely. Um, but if they don't have the knowledge and they haven't developed the experience, they're not going to appreciate the equipment anyway, or even know how to use it. So get the books, get the knowledge, go out and get the experience. That'll give you a better informed opinion about the equipment. You'll understand, like, oh, this is actually worth spending the extra money on, or that's not actually worth the extra. That's just a name.
Mhm.
It really helps a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've told this story before, but I helped a lady clean out from a Y2K
Yes.
prepping that was done out of fear,
Right.
and she had an exorbitant number of oil lamps.
Oh, the Aladdin oil lamps.
Yeah, the Aladdin
Yes.
oil lamps, and, like,
Yes.
I don't think it was more than 5 gallons of oil. I remember it being just, like, a couple of, like, a
Sure.
couple of containers that were
Couldn't even
probably
lit them all up if she tried.
mm-mm,
Yeah.
no, and so it's like, go try the thing out, go a day without shut your power off and try lighting your Aladdin lamp and see what you think of it.
Yeah.
Is it functional? Do you know how to use it? All that. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The trying the things that you have out
Right.
um, is
Well,
super
and
important.
you just said it, and it's a great experiment. On a Friday night, go hit your main breaker. Just kill it.
Mhm.
See how long you can go, and make a game of it. Have fun with it. You've got with the kids. You're getting to have campfires. You're gonna cook your MREs or whatever. You're gonna have fun with it. But like, try this stuff. Learn what works, what didn't work. Where are your pinch points? You can always cut the breaker back on.
Mhm.
Make sure your generator actually works. Make sure you can actually charge things. You know, can you get
Well,
your
and
tablet working? Can you watch your Bluey episode? And
gamify it with your kids too.
yeah,
Ask them, power's off. Okay, what's a solution for this thing? You
yeah,
might
we have a
already
problem here.
know,
How do we
or
fix
maybe
that?
maybe there's a different answer than just the one
True.
that you're thinking of. So, yeah, I think we could actually probably riff on skill-based preparedness for quite a while. So, do you want to leave it there and we can kind of pick up next time we do this and just
I do.
cover it looks like we've got a few more sections left, but I think the skills based, I
Yeah.
know that's kind of my something I really appreciate and like.
Yep.
Um, and it's something that's free.
Hmm.
So, for those who are like, oh, I don't have money to be a prepper, well, work on your skills, work
Yep.
on your troubleshooting, whatever
Right.
else. So,
Absolutely. Well,
well,
sir,
man, do
that
you
was fun.
want to
Yeah.
tell everybody what you do, how they can find you, all that good stuff?
Sure. Cool. All right. Well, I am Jared Wilson. I own Resilient Living. We sell all of these products that we're talking about. I sell the books that has the information. I sell the freeze dried foods and the med kits. I sell ammunition. I am now a federal firearms licensed gun dealer and gunsmith. So, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area and you want to get into being prepared, um, come by the shop, talk to me. I would love to get you set up, build you a get home bag, um, teach you, firearm safety, whatever it is you're looking for, get you a really good, knife. Yeah, whatever it is you're looking for, I can help out.
I bet you can connect people with other people in your
Oh
area as
yeah.
well.
And it's been the funnest part is like, hey, you need to meet this person because you are looking for this. That's what they do. And yeah, it is. And then that really is kind of what I love about this is the community aspect of it. And the radios is just kind of a good analogy for all of that. But like, it's really fun to be able to get in front of people and make these connections and introduce neighbors to neighbors who never got to meet each other. And I've got to meet my neighbors because I have the shop, and they come by and they're like, "Hey, I'm your neighbor." What's really funny is because I'm new to the area. How many people have come by the shop and said, "Oh, I learned to ride a bicycle in your front yard."
That's cool.
Because my house used to be the postmaster's house from Spencer,
Oh,
and
interesting.
a whole bunch of people, I guess, hung out around here or were related that lived in the. Apparently, everyone learned to ride their bicycle in my front yard. So anyway,
That's a good front yard for it. It's about the right slope.
it
So
is.
yeah, I like that. Very cool. Well, my name is Ryan Steva. I am, I guess, the homestead consultant. It's a little on the nose, but the website was available, so I went with it. Um, you can find my stuff in normal places that you would on the socials, YouTube or TikTok, or I don't encourage people on TikTok, but wherever. I don't think I have a Facebook account for my the
I
homestead.
know. I
side.
try to tag you every time. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't. I have to go find Ryan.
No, I've got an Instagram, but I don't do much
Oh.
with it because Instagram is crap too. They all are crap.
They all
honestly,
are.
But go to the homesteadconsultant.com. Don't give those other people your
That's right.
eyeballs.
They're-
Anyways, if people want help with their homestead, setting up systems or figuring out how to get started, that's what I do. Is I help people, avoid big mistakes and set up systems that tie together and are resilient.
Mhm. So make sure you like, follow, share, do all the things, break this YouTube and Facebook algorithms. Because
Smash the things.
smash the things, do the stuff. We'll be back next week, 7:00 Tuesday night. Be here or be square or something like that.
Something like that. See
All
y'all
right.
later.
See ya.